Hello students, our topic is the demographic transmission before the independence of India. We conclude that during the census we found the in 1891 the India records the total population of 23.87 crores. In 1901, India recorded the total population 23.83 crores. In this 10 years, India noticed a decline or a decrease of 0.04 crores population. Again, in 1911, the census records 25.21 crore population with an increase of 1.38 crores in compared to 1901, and again in 1921, that is 1921, India records a decrease of 0.7 crore population amounting to 25.14 crores total population. And from 1921 to till date, the India never records decline or a decrease in a total population. From 1921, the India has a consequently and subsequently we are noticing an increase in the population. While we talk about the next topic, occupational structure of Indian economy before independence. Again, in this topic we notice that the total workman of Indian economy was going with the agriculture. 70 to 75% of the total population was engaged directly or indirectly with the agriculture or primary sector. 10% of the population was merely engaged in the manufacturing sector, secondary sector, and 15 to 10% of the total workman population was engaged directly or indirectly with the service sector. It indicates that the requirement in the manufacturing sector and in the service sector was very less. The employments opportunities available in the secondary and tertiary sector was very less. There was no such type of planning management by the colonial rulers that makes employment opportunities in these sectors. The regional imbalance development or regional variety was also introduced in prior to the independence. The provincial areas like Bengal province, Calcutta province, and Bombay province. This province was little better in the manufacturing sector and servicing sector, and the agricultural engagement in these provinces was less than the other places of Bihar, Odisha, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra, other states. So these provinces are little better in compared to the agriculture based area, where the service and manufacturing sectors were less, and in the province area, Bombay Presidency, Kolkata Presidency, and Madras presidency. These presidency areas were little better in a service sector and manufacturing sector. If we talk about the next topic, infrastructures before the independence of India or before the eve of independence, we have some positive and negative readings. Infrastructure means all the facilities which helps for the growth of economical development, industrial development, social development. So in infrastructural development we talk about the economical and social filaments which nourishes which paves a smooth road for the nation's development. In the infrastructure we count transport, communications, banking, power, energy, and health facility, housing facilities, sanitation facilities, and other educational facilities. When we talk about these facilities, we have two types of view. We can't deny that British government or the colonial government was negatively affected on this area. They, rather than the other aspect, they do little better in this field. But when we talk about with motive of the development of this infrastructure, we are very clear and focused that all the infrastructural development made by the British rulers or colonial government was focused on their interest. All the efforts made in this area was for the betterment of the British rules. But we have some sideline fruits with this infrastructure. Especially in the railway, British develops railway transportation, postage and communication transportation, road construction, harbour and port development. These educational development, they introduced the English pattern, English education. They started the college education. All these though was made for their own interest, but Indian also get benefited by these efforts. The railway was indeed made for their better communication, transportation of raw material and finished good from one place to another. The road was facilitated for their smooth transportation of raw material from one place to another place and to maintain the smooth running of administration. Telecommunication and postage services was also introduced for their maintenance of good administration, good command or control over the Indian territories. Even the school education with English education was introduced in the British Raj for cheaper availability of employment for their business. And this business was for them was costly if they hired the clerk and other office workers from England. They have to pay higher salary for them. So they make an option that if they get this worker class from India itself. So all these infrastructural development made by the Britishers, though was with the prime concern of their smooth running or a smooth control over the Indian territory, but it little bit beneficiated or helped the Indian for their development. We can't deny that India do not get any positive help from the British Empire or British rules before independence. The agricultural management, the foreign trade, education, even a law enforced by the Britishers before the eve of independence are still followed by the Indian judiciary. They established the judicial system in India that helped the modern India. They laid the policies of education which helped the India after independence. Their transportation, communications, their railways, their constructions in a pre-colonial time helped the India after the colonial time. So we can conclude that India get a counter benefited part with the infrastructural development made by the Britishers in India before the independence of India.